and welcome to Joseph's Model Railway and Toy Room, which is in the other room, channel. Yes indeed. As always, you don't need to like, follow or subscribe. I just put the videos out there where I can and have a holly jolly great time doing so. Well, in this video, it's not about me this time, or maybe it is. We're going to be looking at the Hornby Playtrains series and what we're going to be getting up to there, which I purchased for my daughter's second birthday. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe this one is for ages 3 and up. But you just try and stop me from getting someone involved with trains. So we're going to have a quick look and see what this is all about. All right, well, let us come down now and have a look. I'm a little disappointed Hornby don't still do the Thomas range anymore, but Bachmann now have the licensing for that, and I dare say we will still end up with some of that and or as well. But we've got to get the little ones introduced, and so here we are with the Hornby. Now we're starting it off with the Flash Local Express, which basically gets us started, and like any quality Hornby system, we can build upon it. Of course, for those playing along with us at home, this is the Hornby R9332 remote controlled battery train set. Flash is the character we have here, representing one of the high-speed trains. We do obviously have a remote control that the little ones use, so they don't have to touch and discover the wonderful joys of what electricity can do to you. And as you would expect, some tremendous packaging. Let us flip the box over now, and in true Hornby style, what you can basically be achieving here and what we're going to have, which of course will be our first loop with the locomotive. I believe we get a tunnel we assemble here, and of course we have some extensions and alternate material to purchase, of which I'm pretty sure Thunder might be what we will be seeing under the Christmas tree this year, along with some additional track. But like any Hornby system, we need to get started. So let's have a look what is in the box here. Just one interesting note here, on either side where the tabs are on the boxes, there's no security seal or tape. Not that I would expect my local reseller to have opened the box and taken something important out, but I don't know, maybe I'm just a little bit surprised these days that that is not there. So let's get this gently opened up and have a look what we've got here today. Well, of course, we have our traditional recycled materials that are in action here, which I suppose is what we want to see in today's day and age. We have our track mat in here and some pretty logical cardboard assembled stations and platforms that will fold and flip together to make it all happen. All looks quite logical and simple. We have our track. Also, this is the exact scale that we do use on our 00 layouts, and we can actually take the train, which is located here, and run it on my existing layout. Although that's not quite finished, for those of you following the channel, you will be all too well aware. But let us just have a quick look at this. Because for me, the build quality needs to be reasonably solid considering the age group of who's going to be playing with it. Now, it all does look quite well put together. Nothing's going to fall off. If it does drop or hit the ground or something, it's not going to break that easily. This is a quite well constructed system, and I know they've done their homework with this particular ensemble. Again, the tracks, I'm not expecting them to be easy to construct for a 2-year-old, but once again, it looks like they've got a pretty solid formula and have done their homework on what needs to happen here. I think the most impressive thing, if I don't mind taking a moment to tell you, has got to be their price structure. For anyone that does model railway, the price of even the most basic set is really going up, and it starts to become quite the expensive hobby, even though most of us enthusiasts can be rather frugal when it comes to the spendings. But needless to say, we have a controller here that we're going to get the batteries accordingly into, and as I would expect, screw one so they can't fiddle around. and some buttons, which I'm always interested in the tactile buttons about what it is and the clickable, but this really feels like we're going to get a little bit of life out of it. But still, let's see what we can come up with and put this thing together. Well, it's now been 24 hours since we originally started the process, and I thought I'd just take a few quick moments to share my thoughts on this particular setup. As you can see, we do have a track mat, which is of a plasticky type of material. It's quite durable and easily washable and all the rest of it, so that lays down for a nice foundation for the little ones to have some fun on. Of course, just like their bigger brother, the track mat follows a pretty similar type of track plan that we can expand and build upon. Again, they give you a tunnel and a station, which is just some cardboard that needs to be folded up. Between you and me, I think a little bit of tape or a drop of glue here and there to put it together properly will yield some much better results. But it's all designed to be simple and get you on your way as quick as possible. Of course, it's exceptionally lightweight, so you could easily pack it away or hang it up or do what you need to do. Now, let us just get started. We don't want to hold you up too much. We obviously do have our controller that we have here, which is basically an infrared one that we can fire off and use. We have obviously a button to turn the lights on and lights off. We have a volume here for the horn. We also have one here to, the next one beside it is just to activate the sound for it. I'll turn that one off. And of course we do have another one for when you're flying past a crossing or what have you. So your high speed mode, so to speak. Now, we have a big stop button to stop it, and we have the directional buttons. Now, I like to just point out a couple of things, if I may. Let us now just zoom into our magnificent locomotive and have a look at what we have. Of course, it comes with different stickers. You can apply different faces and what have you. There is no right or wrong. The kids can, of course, have some fun. Again, I did mention the lights. Let's pop them back on for a minute. It's non-directional. It's only going to come from the actual drive unit itself. The other thing is, when my little one, who is only 2 years old, remember this is aimed for 3 years and up. First of all, when I turned it on and she saw it in action, she was a little bit spooked and ran away. A little bit heartbreaking for me to tell you that, but not in a bad way. It's because while she likes seeing trains on TV, they just move from left through to the right of the screen. And in this particular application here is that as it came on and coming toward her, she didn't understand that it was going to turn and follow a track. The reason I say it is the speed that this travels at. She was also the first to point out that it actually is multiple speeds. I didn't even notice that. But let's just start it. That is the slowest speed. I'm a little disappointed that that's what we're going to do. We'll come back to that in just a moment. But while we've got our locomotive here, let's have a look. First of all, the dummy coach, as you can see, it connects magnetically with these connections. So nice and simple, they don't have to fumble around down here. On the drive unit here itself, what's interesting is the actual locomotive here is obviously where our motor housing and everything lies. You can feel the weight in there. However, this doesn't come apart. And this is our battery module. Now, as you would have seen in the high-speed thing as I loaded it up, this cartridge comes out. There are 4 AA batteries in here. Why I was a little bit disappointed about the complication is that's 4 AA's in here and 2 AA's in the remote. I'm just amazed that couldn't have been a AA in there to keep everything consistent and cost effective. Right, let us just go back and pick up our other carriage here. Now, we're just going to run this at the slowest speed it operates at. Now, I really think Hornby probably could have just dropped it down one extra notch on that, because that's moving at a fair pace. Because by the time we come in back to that station and hit the stop button, it's a pretty wild ride. Now, once again, let's get it going. Now, if we push the button again, you'll notice it picks up some speed. And if we push it one more time, this is now top speed. Now, certainly with the bigger oval, that's going to be pretty practical, but it does move quite quickly. Now, to slow it down, of course, you'll have to push the other direction. 1, 2, and now we're back to the slow one, and then we can stop. We can move in the we can move in the other direction. Again, 1, 2, 3. We could honk a horn. Put a bit of ambient noise on there.
Well, there you have it. And generally, this is where I would probably just wrap the video up and do a bit of a conclusion. But girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, we're not finished yet. There's one more magic trick that this little child's toy has up its sleeve, especially for you adults that are watching this video. So come on, let's go see what makes this such a special little train to have.
Of course, our flanges really aren't that big, and when it comes to super elevation as featured on these curves, that's a little tricky for this thing to negotiate. Particularly, and the interesting one is actually where we've got weight here in the battery pack. So remember, there's quite a bit of weight with those 4 AA batteries. And then the drive unit itself. What's interesting is the coupling mechanism actually is a little bit ordinary here, because this particular wheel arrangement, there is basically very little, if no weight at all, actually pending down on that. The weight's actually transferring back to the locomotive. So this bit is a little bit loose and flaps around a lot, and is basically what was causing derailments in my situation, as you saw there. So that's just something to take away from it too. But it is highly impressive that we can take a system that's actually marketed for the little ones to play as toys, but still can give them a moment to come onto a layout and have their train running on most typical layouts. The most impressive thing about that is they don't need to worry about wiring up or anything. Off they go, and they can drive and control as they so choose. Girls and boys, ladies and gentlemen, well, yes indeed, now this will officially conclude our wonderful video. Look, I hope it's given you just a little bit of a snapshot and an insight into what Hornby have actually been up to when it comes to introducing their new generation of followers into the market, of course. And remember, this, of course, isn't the first time that Hornby have done such things. Of course, they did have the licensing originally for the Thomas the Tank Engine series, which, of course, Bachmann now currently have. And I guess the other important thing is, if we just zip back to my favorite Hornby catalog as seen here, if we just flip over to this particular page, you will notice that they already were to create a more marketable option to the more junior enthusiasts. But as always, that's going to do it for once again. Thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay safe. Toodles!